Kapla warriors, today is a good day for blueberry lemonade, which is something that I had today, and it was delicious. My first time ever having blueberry lemonade. It was, of course, a house-made blueberry lemonade. I don't want a store-bought one. It was made fresh, and it was delicious. Before I get started, thanks Tyler Gardner for becoming a member. And, yes, let's review the schedule, I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget that I'm British. So Mondays are gaming. This past Monday, I already forgot, was group Minecraft, which we'll do again soon. That was fun. I enjoy it much more in creative mode. I don't want to have to think or try. And then Tuesdays are cozy streams. Last night we finished the Epic of Gilgamesh. Tragic tale of how Gilgamesh unalives the forest guardian for no reason and cuts down a bunch of trees. And then Wednesday is a class with Dr. Export. This is the topic you voted on 2 weeks ago, but of course I was sick last week and unable to do the stream. You all heard how terrible I sounded later on, so yes, my cough is like at least 90% gone. And then Thursday's more gaming. Haven't decided about tomorrow, we'll discuss that. And of course we'll vote on next week's class topic at the end of today. And oh, you're very welcome, Derp. Your base was astonishing. It was quite extensive. Believe I only scratched the surface. So, oh, and tomorrow's gaming will include a special surprise, which I referenced yesterday, but I won't be giving hints. Dr. No, there's a surprise, a reveal at the end of today's stream, and then an extra special surprise tomorrow. And then Fridays are Nika guest host streams. Looks like it's going to be Trony. She's finally winning. Kilo, Trony, Chime, right? Those were the new ones I had added. And Dorothy. And poor Trony is the last to be selected of those 4 new ones. Excuse me. Anyway, Dirt Feather, that's what he said? Sorry. That's a good one. Anyway, so 2 exciting things that will be revealed at the end of today's stream. First, I'll reveal the new song, well, the next song, I should say, at the end of stream. It's a remix. You're free to guess who you think it is. And then Thursday, tomorrow, I'll be unveiling a project I've been working on for about a week, I suppose, maybe less. Working on, when I have a project, I go really hard on it. And so, busted that out. And I think I've worked out all the bugs, and it's ready to reveal. And, today's thumbnail is a Simpsons reference, by the way. And then question of the day, which I see Jack Trix is answering. Favorite temperature? Above 68 and below 72. That's a bit hotter than I'd like it, Jack Trix, if it's the summer. I prefer it around 70. If it's the summer outside, I like it nice and cool, like 65. But then if it's the winter, I like it like 72. So, I don't know. I like it pretty moderate. I don't like the heat. I'm fine with the cold, but I do not like the heat. And for me, heat is 75 and up, or even lower, if it's sunny. So, yes. Dirt Feather. The first I ever heard of that game was when I saw that collab announcement. A perpetual state of chill. Jack Trix. I run warm. So I very easily overheat, as you all probably remember from over this summer when I've had heat sickness repeatedly. So I prefer it cooler. Alright, let's get started. History of air conditioning. Are you ready? So, oh, I got these a little out of order. That's all right. Well, shit. There we go. Shite, I guess is what they say. Ah, yes, Eldragon, I'm the opposite. All right. So, the history of air conditioning. So how did people cool themselves before air conditioning? Because the attempt to cool oneself during the summer has been an epic quest for as long as humanity has existed, basically. So in ancient Sumer, one way they combated the heat is by building thick walls made of mud. And then these mud walls, you can see here how thick they are. This mud absorbed the heat during the day and then released it at night. They also kept the buildings very close together, so then there were less walls. The walls weren't getting as much sun because the walls were shading each other instead of exposed to the sun. And yes, exactly, Jack Tricks. It's very uncomfortable. And then they also had narrow streets, so they kept the streets between buildings narrow so that they would shade the street below. Moving on to Egypt. So Egypt, this is not Egypt, but this one I believe is Egypt, or similar. It's alright. Same concept. So Egypt, one thing they did is they used evaporative cooling by using wet reed mats. So they use reeds for lots of things, of course. And they wet these mats and then hung them over windows and doorways for evaporative cooling. Kind of like when I was a child and it was hot and we didn't have air conditioning in my early childhood home. We used to wet handkerchiefs or towels and hang them over the fan. So that would create that nice cooling. But then, very interesting, they also had these... Oh, additionally, they had their buildings also had thick walls, few windows facing the sun, so they had not a lot of windows and especially not facing the sun. And then they had openings to take in the air on the side of prevailing winds and an exit vent on the other side. So here is a nice picture of that. So we'll be talking about the Malkafs, which were used... So it's believed they originated in Egypt, but they spread all over to Persia, India, North Africa. They were used all over the place. So here's an example of how they worked. So these were towers built... So one way was from one side of the house to the other. Then they also had towers built on rooftops, and they directed the wind down into the building, and then the hot air back out. And so the incoming wind and the change in buoyancy of air, with the warmer air tending to rise above the cooler, denser air, supported this. And then air was also caught by the opening of the wind catcher, funneled down to the dwelling below, and then so you see it deposited the sand and dust, and then it flowed throughout and back out, leaving the building. Here is another... Can you see this? Here's another one. So here's where the tower is at the top here. And it's shoo! So some of them also had subterranean pools of water, which you can see down here. So that would add additional cooling. The air would flow over these pools of water, getting even cooler. And the warm air would rise and leave. Goodbye! Goodbye, cruel air. So here, this is a wind tower. They're quite beautiful as well. Was it hard to see out of context? Ah, here's a nice one as well. So you can see in Iran and Iraq. So it would catch the wind. And here's the underground, the subterranean water. It's a qanat. Ah, nice and cool. Send it out. And then here, I'm not certain if this is Egypt, but it's somewhere. These are other wind towers. And then Native Americans... Oh, I didn't get a... Did I get an image of this? Oops. I knew it. Damn it. Okay. Alright, Native Americans. So these were Pueblo Native Americans. They stayed cool, also with thick... So people pretty much figured out thick walls help with insulation. And then, very cleverly, they built their homes into cliffs to create a natural shade. This is a really cool image here. Look at this, they're just naturally shaded. Brilliant. Zebrin, you've been here? Right here, this area? And seen these? I would love to see it. I would love to see this. It's lovely. And then in China, this is the only image I could find. Don't know how accurate it is, but hopefully it is. So there was a man, Ding Huan, invented a human-powered rotary fan to cool the members of the emperor's court. So you can see they turn this. Sucks to be the one who has to turn it, doesn't it? Really, Zebrin? Well, I would be quite comfortable in there. Oh, Matryoshka, glad to have you. And then here's another image here. So he made... I like this image because it includes a description. So his fan was 10 foot wide. So obviously this image here, not 10 foot wide. Made of 7 connected wheels. I couldn't find any image of it. I think it's only been described, perhaps. And then a single operator could power the device and cool an entire hall of people. And later versions of this fan were powered by water instead of by people, water from fountains. And the water from the fountain additionally added an evaporative cooling effect from the resulting spray. It sounds very comfortable. And then last but not least, I could not find an image, a good image of this, but in ancient Rome. So you all have probably heard of aqueducts. You can see the grey thing in the back. That's an aqueduct used for transporting water. But for the rich, so for the Jeff Bezos of the time, they could have water from the aqueduct pumped into pipes in their home for cooling. Can you believe that? In Rome. And so here's the only other... Where did it go? Where's the cat? Here it is. So, not your average Roman, obviously. But they were living it up. The ones that had it. Is it other sunglasses or is it a visor? I think you're right. I think it's glasses. It's very blurry for me. And then here... since I couldn't find an image of it in, like, being pumped into the homes at all, here's a Roman pipe. Look at the astonishing symmetry and perfect roundness of these pipes. Here's another one, Roman pipes. Incredible. Indoor plumbing. Alright, that was that. Alright. Moving on. Let me get a sip of water. So, I couldn't find as many images as I'd like for some of these things, unfortunately. Because, I was hoping to find drawings, but I couldn't easily. You know, out of context, there are still many cats in Rome. When I visited Rome, there were many cats. Especially around the Colosseum. Alright. Oh, darn it. This goes over there. Get out of here. Alright, so, some inventions and discoveries that were important to air conditioning development. So, 1558, Giambattista della Porta. Here, it says John Baptist instead of Giambattista. So, I guess that's un-Italianized. So, he described a method of chilling ice to temperatures below freezing. My god, look at that woman. Just noticing that. Woman cow, I guess. Anyway, that was distracting. Chilling ice, below freezing, by mixing with potassium nitrate. He described this in his science book, very popular at the time, Natural Magic. You can barely read that part that says natural. Magic, with a K, in 20 books. XX, 20 books. A Neapolitane. 20 books. 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 20 Very good. Very good. Ravenwolf, you do see the woman, right? I can't stay on it long. I'm sure YouTube will be like, oh my gosh, she's got 3 sets. That's even more lewd. Alright, the next one I couldn't find an image of. So I'll go back to this. 1620, Cornelius Drebel did what he called turning summer into winter for James I of England, who would have been the successor to Queen Elizabeth I, her nephew by, well, I guess not a nephew cousin, by, Mary Queen of Scots. Anyway, that's my other, you know, my Tudors thing. So he chilled part of the Great Hall of Westminster Abbey with an apparatus made of troughs and vats. Could not find an image of that, but I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Now, I think this is what I wanted. 1748. Goodness, she's already had her treat. William Cullen, a Glasgow professor, demonstrated the refrigerative effects of evaporative cooling, so he evaporated liquids in a vacuum. And I think this is it. It's my best guess. This is what came up. It looks about right, doesn't it? It looks like German, yes, out of context, but his name was William Cullen and he was from Glasgow, so I don't believe he was German. So who knows? That could be wrong. Another one. Michael Faraday in 1820, a British scientist. He discovered you could use compressed. So he, first of all, he was able to compress. He turned gas into a liquid. So he liquefied gas, and then in so doing discovered that if you liquefied compressed ammonia, it also would chill the air as it evaporated. It chilled the surrounding air as it evaporated. So I believe it was more of an incidental finding of his discovery of his achievement of liquefying gases. So you can see here, gas, liquefaction, liquid, and then cooling. Cooling the nearby air. This one I quite like. This fellow, I don't think he gets his fair due. His, is that what I mean? Fair due. His, what's the phrase I'm looking for? Yes, one of very many. I always assume that's the case with bread and cheese and beer as well. Food discoveries. Anyway, this one's very important. 1842, Dr. John Gorey, an American doctor. He cooled hospital rooms in Florida. I believe his patients had malaria. He cooled the hospital rooms with what he called his ice machine. Florida Inventors Hall of Fame. So here's his ice machine. It was a small steam engine used to cool the air. So really this would be the first, what would you call it? Like active cooling, or what's the I'm looking, like machine cooling. And so yes, a small steam engine used to, the steam engine sure led to a lot of things too, didn't it? To cool the air. He hoped to eventually use his ice making machine to cool entire buildings and entire cities. He was granted a patent in 1851, but following the death of his main backer, he was not able to realize his invention. Also, he received pushback from ice companies, who stirred skepticism among the public. So the public wasn't as interested at that time. So it was like right person, wrong time kind of thing. Right invention, wrong time. But very cool. Here's a cool image. 1851, designed to convert water into ice artificially by absorbing its heat of liquefaction with expanding air. So a double-acting compressor cylinder and a double-acting expanding cylinder, the pistons of which are connected to a crankshaft designed to be turned by a steam engine or other prime mover not shown. The air compressed in the compressor cylinder was cooled by the immersion of the cylinder in cold water, the injection of cold water into the cylinder, and by passing the air through a worm, immersed in a tub of water. The compressed air was led to a receiver and then to the expanding cylinder, which was surrounded by a cistern of uncongealable liquid. Out of context, I remember my nana used to talk about their ice, what did they call it back then? An ice box, right? An ice box, because they didn't have refrigerators. And she spent part of her childhood on a farm. So they had their ice box back then instead of like a real refrigerator. Expansion of air absorbed heat from the liquid, which circulated to a worm. What the hell do they mean worm? In a freezing tub, where the liquid absorbed heat from the water in the tub, causing it to freeze. So, Dr. John Gorey should get more of the credit, in my opinion. So that was 1842, got his patent in 1851. Then, he was so considered the father of cool. 1902, the first modern air conditioning unit was created by Willis Carrier. He was a research engineer. So, in 1902, he was a research engineer. There was an air quality problem experienced at a lithographing and publishing company in Brooklyn, New York. They needed to keep the printers cool. So he submitted drawings for what became recognized as the world's first modern air conditioning system. So the problem was that at the printing company, it was so humid in the summer, the paper grew and shrank. So they had poor quality images and it messed all kinds of things up. And this eventually, so he was really the big, Willis Carrier was like the big bringer of air conditioning. They led to a definition in the field of air conditioning was that air conditioning must perform 4 basic functions to be considered air conditioning: control temperature, control humidity, control air circulation and ventilation, and cleanse the air. 1906, he was granted a patent. And then in 1911, here's an image. This is actually him with his centrifugal refrigeration machine. This is 1923. So skipping ahead a bit. So 1911, he presented a document called the Rational Psychometric Formulae at the annual meeting of the American Society of Mechanical Engineers, and is now known as the Magna Carta of Psychrometrics. It's hard for me to say. Then by 1914, the first domestic air conditioning was installed, so in a home. And then in 1915, he and some fellow engineers founded Carrier Corporation, a company specializing in the manufacture and distribution of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So we now call it HVAC systems. But before World War II, it wasn't very common. It was post... so 1915, obviously not long after that came World War I. But before... And then in the 20s... air conditioning started to become more popular because of movie theaters. So, movie theaters were very popular, but were known to be very stinky and hot because of all those bodies in there without the air conditioning during the summer. So they stank. The air was reek. So I like how it says scientifically air conditioned. So they, 1F, I thought you said you wonder if Willis Carrier is still around. And I'm like, I don't think so. I believe he died in like 1950 or something. Anyway, so yes, movie theaters helped to draw people's attention to them. I believe also the World's Fair. Can't remember what year. Oh, I know. This one. The World's Fair. Here he is at the World's Fair showing off. He's got a thermometer in his hand. It's hard to see. And these little Santa baby ladies. And he's showing, like, look how cool it is in here. Yeah, Trilith, I'm sure it was awful. Back. And then, Carrier Corporation. Okay, so it was still kind of gaining in popularity. 1931, H.H. Schultz and J.Q. Sherman developed what would become the most common type of individual room air conditioner, designed to sit on a window ledge, which we still have these. So this is quite interesting. So the units went on sale in 1932, so post World War One, at $10,000 US, up to 50,000. So starting at 10,000 and up to 50,000 US. So the equivalent of 200,000 to 1.2 million in 2024. So still for the rich. Can you imagine? And nowadays, if it was $10,000 US today, I wouldn't buy it. That's a car down payment. And then, so then, oh, I didn't get a photo of this. Darn it. A year later, the first air conditioning systems for cars were offered for sale. So Chrysler had the first semi-portable air conditioning unit, 1935. And then Packard became the first to offer an air conditioning unit in its cars in 1939. Yeah, it might be backwards, one off. It does, I'm not sure. I like this image just because it's humorous. She's showing us how wonderful the air conditioning is. It's so cool. Look, no pit stains, everyone. Let's look for a picture of this car air conditioner. Images. Let's see. Chrysler air conditioning 1935. Probably not gonna work. Let's see. First, we'll only try for a moment. Is this one? Ah, look at this. I'll open it in a new tab. See if I can find... Ooh, look at these. Wonderful. Love it. That'll do. Alright, here's one. I assume it's blowing water into the car as well. It's taking the air in. I don't know what's going on there. This one makes more sense. Look. Look at her hat. The big earrings. Did they do their makeup like that back then? It looks very modern. Must have been very nice. Guessing it was still for the rich. Right, let's go back to the comfortable woman. So then in 1945, Robert Sherman in Massachusetts invented a portable in-window air conditioner that cooled, heated, humidified, dehumidified, and filtered the air. Didn't find an image of that one, unfortunately. Yes, Matryoshka, her eye makeup looked very modern to me. I like this one as well. The colors. Love it. Looks like that woman wants to be Audrey Hepburn. With that haircut. And then, so it really started, the popularity really started to pick up post-World War II. And in 1945, Life magazine had a 4-page spread about air conditioning. They called it Air Conditioning / After the War, it will be cheap enough to put in private homes. It was described as a pre-war luxury that was being manufactured in large quantities and sold at a moderate cost in the post-war mass market. So everything, you know, baby boomers and all, They were having babies and air conditioning. And then the first... Oh, this one's good too. Look at this ad. For the professional man, this is an RCA ad. For the businessman, and for personal service shops. Although I'm not quite sure what the difference here between the professional man... Oh, he's a dentist. I thought he was doing her hair. Stupid. So look. Yes. For every type of need. Because we need everywhere to be cool. This is J. Jonah Jameson right here. Spider-Man when he becomes a little more successful as Peter Parker. This guy looks like he's actually a villain. This is his cover. And here's Wonder Woman. Anyway. Then the first inverter air conditioners were released in 1980, between 1980 and 81. So here's this one that I like. And then, current air conditioning. So, the Future of Cooling report, released by the International Energy Agency in 2018, found that, air conditioning accounts for nearly 20% of the total electricity used worldwide. That's pretty astonishing given that some countries have a lot less air conditioning than the United States as well, including much hotter countries. And so what's the future of air conditioning? Well, they need one that uses less energy and less damaging to the environment. Apparently some of the desiccants are, the refrigerative desiccants are harmful. And then they're also working on non-vapor compression technology, which doesn't use HFCs that harm the environment. And it's estimated that non-vapor compression technologies could reduce energy consumption by 50%. So we still need to cool things. We actually need to cool things even more than ever before because it's getting hotter. But we need to do it better. And some propose we even go back to some old-fashioned ways, like the wind towers. And then, here's a little review of some of the reasons that air conditioning or AC, which, what did I read that they call it? Aircon in the UK and in England? So... one reason that they developed air conditioning was because of changes in architectural design. So, for example, old castles and churches and historic buildings in Europe have thick walls and high ceilings, which meant that these structures stayed cooler in summer and retained heat in the winter. But modern homes are different and don't have this built-in function, so they need alternative cooling and heating. Air conditioning also increases productivity. So one of the reasons we read that Willis Carrier invented it was because of the problem of the indoor climate was harming the quality of products. So another product was like leather, I believe I read. So leather and printing companies and other companies, they needed the indoor climate at a constant temperature to not harm the product and the quality. And then later, the computer industry took off. So air conditioning became important to keep the equipment at a constant and cooler temperature to prevent overheating and shutoffs. So it's now essential for server rooms around the world. And medicine as well. Constant temperatures are vital for pharmaceutical research and laboratories, a variety of types of research. And then, air conditioning was also very important for the development of large cities, because as we grew across the world, these larger cities, it became more important to be able to cool so that we can support these large populations. So population growth and city development has been a driver for many inventions in human history. And then climate change. So the warming world has been important. The world's gotten hotter and hotter. So that's one reason. We've needed to cool more. Summers have gotten warmer. Although it's been quite cool in my area. Much cooler, unseasonably cool summer, I believe. I'm not sure. I think the coolest since I've lived here at least. And yes, so that's some of the reasons. And that is the end of the history of air conditioning. So, any questions before we vote on the next topic for next week? 1F, is that higher than normal? Ah, good point, Matryoshka. Yes. Or is that typical 1F? When I was a child, I moved from the Bay Area of California to more northern California, and I hated it. Because the Bay Area summers are fairly moderate. Like 80s, at least back then. I think they're hotter now. But when I moved to an area where pretty much every day of the summer's over 100 degrees. 90s was considered cool. And many days were over 110 degrees. It was a nightmare. The worst. And when I was, part of my college years, I lived in Oregon. And, a lot of places in Oregon, and Washington don't have air conditioning. Because you didn't need to use it. You didn't need it as much before. The summers were cooler. But in college, it was very hot and I had no air conditioning. And I remember sticking my head in the freezer. Didn't help much. My god, Gamma Spectre. I think it might have reached that hot in my childhood a few times, in my teens. Close to that. Maybe in the hottest day. It was regularly over 110. I don't think ever as hot as 120, though. Depth Feather's ready to go. History of anime, alright. History of anime, history of pirates. Other topics. Doesn't have to be history either. Could be things like, what else? Autism. Features of a specific cuisine. Like cooking techniques and spices of Filipino cuisine. Or, trying to think of other topics. A review of the Star Wars Expanded Universe. I'm talking about not Disney. I'm talking about before. Obviously. How to make frosting, Josbert. There are several types of frosting. Hygiene, Blue Tut. What does that mean? Oh. Yes, Gamma, there was. How to converse with women. That was one before. History of underwear. That would be quite interesting. But I'm going to insist if we do history of underwear, we must include history of period products. I was going to call you 2F because... Sorry. 1F, thank you. Wow, 1F. Cut me deep there. That's only true if you consider that they now own the original trilogy. So, I don't know. How to play, Jacktrix? Do you not play it? Frosting history, Doctor. Interesting, I know nothing about that. Era period, Gamma. What? History of bananas. Interesting. Have you ever seen those images of what bananas used to look like? They were all seed. Alright, someone start... Interesting, Matryoshka. I'm not familiar with before the Age of Exploration. I don't think. Unless you count, like, you know, trade routes. So, out of context, I actually don't know a whole lot about her history. All I know is that she was returned by her previous adopters. So I can't ever threaten to return her if she's being naughty because she was returned. So that cuts deep. It's too close to home. Memes of Warhammer. I hope to God that's not what they're setting up. Him and Marion being royalty would be so dumb. That would be disappointing. That would be very... What does that remind me of? You know what it's like? It's like the Kylo Ren Rey romance. History of witchcraft. Very interesting, Kachim. Alright, I need you all to start seconding a topic that you've seen so I can narrow it down. Someone, start to narrow down a topic. So we've talked about what is autism, talking to women, history of witchcraft. What else did I see? History of... I've already got anime and history of pirates. History of bananas. How to make frosting. What else? History of pharmacology. All right. Yes, history of pirates has been seconded. So I've got history of pirates and history of anime on the list. So start seconding something that you've seen. Deceased new ideas and second previously mentioned ideas to help narrow it down, if you know what I mean. Orange watermelon. No, but I did see... I was somewhere the other day, I believe I saw a black watermelon. Yes, Matryoshka, it has increased drastically, even since I was in an undergrad. All right. So of the three... All right, hold on, let me finish. The feather, no more. Second something. I've had some seconds for autism. I've had 2 votes for how to speak to women. So what of it? Orange do. All right. All right. Here's the 4 we are going to do. I'm going to put a poll, but first I'll type it here. Pirates. Autism. Anime. Talking to women. Can't advise on talking to men because I have no expertise on that. All right, poll in YouTube, poll in Twitch. I have a cut on my finger, and every time I put on hand sanitizer today, it stung because I kept forgetting about it. I don't even know how I got it, so I kept stinging myself. And here I see I have a splinter. What the hell? How did I get this splinter? Never gonna get it out. It's really in there. What she said. Well, that is not alright with me. Blue Tut may be a paper cut. I don't remember getting it. And it hurts. 1F, no. No liquid bandage. I had enough of that as a child. Alright, so far it's looking like it's between history of pirates and talking to women. Doctor, no expertise in talking to men. Usually, in high school, my go-to was tease them about something, and then tease them repeatedly on that subject forever. And that would seduce them, that would woo them. It's not a good strategy. Apparently people think it's annoying. Give you till 8:51. Talking to animals, yes. I mean, talking to animals is basically the same as talking to a young child or an anxious adult. Don't make too much eye contact. Try to give off non-threatening vibes. Let them approach you. Basically the same as with a young child who's timid. That's true. Out of context, we all are. You are in the kingdom Animalia. We might have to... Oops, step time. Might have to do a tiebreaker poll. So, I said I'd give you till 8:51. Doctor, I know. I was very, like, Chinibyo. That was very much me. Painful to look back on. I was very embarrassing. And I didn't find that there were lots of girls that had my same, the same things that I liked. So, like, I really liked Star Wars, Star Trek, Batman, X-Men, and not a lot of other girls did. True, Gamma. Very true. And they're finding more and more that other animals are much more intelligent than we've long believed. So right now, it's looking like by 2 votes, women wins. Talking to women, of course. Pirate is very close. Autism was a close 3rd. Do you want to do a tiebreaker? I guess it technically wasn't a tie, but a very narrow win. Does anyone who voted for something else want a chance to break the tie between talking to women and pirates? But technically it did win by 3 votes, talking to women. Oh, Zephyr, you're here. Redacted wasn't here, though. That's too bad. Redacted, are you there? Alright, well, it's now won by 3. Alright, shocking. This is like the 4th time it's been on the list and it's never won. Although it's been close second many times. And by the way, I'm adding the Twitch votes to the YouTube votes, if you're confused in looking at one of them. Ravenwolf, well, would you like to? It's optional. I mean, I assume, do you ever go into a cafe or, a sister, a receptionist, a doctor? Ravenwolf, I can't believe that. Zephyr was here all along. Alright, so that won. Alright, let's do these impressions. I will be changing my avatar away from teacher export, and the British are leaving. Okay. So. That's true, Doctor. Okay, so crown request, Yan request. Well, hello. We should get an AD machine for the kingdom, don't you think, Chime? It's AC, my king. Besides, we already have that. Oh, sorry, my voice. Oh, right! Geez, Chime, no need to be so cold! Oh, thank you, Matryoshka. Sorry, my voice like cracked when I was doing Chime. Alright, and Yan. Talking to women... Oh, no, hold on. Gotta get Southern after being British for so long. Ironically, the Southern accent is, I believe, derived from a British accent. Talking to women shouldn't be that hard for y'all. Here, practice with this girl named Goldship. Alright. So, gonna reveal the new remix, the next remix song. Darkfeather. I just lost my train of thought. Ravenwolf Goldship is from the game Uma Musume and based on a real horse. Oh, I thought I'd heard British 1F. I could be wrong. Okay, so guess what the next remix is. Who the next remix is. Who is it? Miranda. Braven, that'll be part of it. If you're doing a good job with your talking, they should talk back to you. Not Eleg, not Ether, not Mustang. Anyone else? Guys, come on, think about, like, current. It's timely. Oh, Doctor, no, I'm sorry to confuse you. That was a reference to Serenity, the movie that finished up the Firefly series. Doctor, yeah, my bad. Up. Ding, 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 ding. Blue Tut gets the prize. It's Vesti. That's funny, Zephyr. Yeah, Bravenwolf, that's a bad way to start. That's how you end the conversation before it starts. So, Friday, 11 a.m. Friday, be there. And it'll be right out after this stream for tier 3. 1F. So yeah. And then tomorrow, extra special 2. Oh, dang it, Matryoshka. Thank you for that. It's actually not missing. It's just invisible. I'm sorry. It's invisible to the naked eye. Thank you. Thank you, Matryoshka. Doctor, yeah, I used to love that quote. Not that I don't love it now, but I loved it even more before. Now there's too many bumper stickers. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna do this siren request real quick. I adore it so much. The bamboo is a lie. Don't trust Dirtfeather. Bubbles. Wow, Braven. Wow. It is not my responsibility to make sure you can see invisible letters. You've heard of silent letters. Why would you think they're not also invisible? See a Zephyr request? For such a stud, maybe I should introduce Trim to Goldship. And hopefully make a cavalry... Oh, Trom. Sorry. I see Trim space E and I was really confused. Let me start over. For such a stud, maybe I should introduce Trom to Goldship and hopefully make a cavalry fit for the kingdom. You're gonna need to translate that to General Fahrenheit for me. I am terrible with Celsius. True, there's also imaginary numbers. Sorry, K-Chim, glasses won't work. You need binocular, not binoculars. Oh my god, microscope. Woo! So, sorry. The song remix will come out after stream for tier 3 members. And then Friday 11 a.m. for everyone else. I really like this version. I think it goes even harder than the original version, which I really liked that one too because it's kind of my music style. And so yes, that was that's the plan. That's gonna be tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be gaming, but it'll be a surprise. I don't know, Braven, what did I just say? I already forgot. You can't ask me that. Oh, were you talking about... I think I know what you were... maybe you were referring to. And then, oh, sorry. Sometimes I don't get enough breath. And I have to take a deep breath. And then... yeah, Brave Wolf, I know what you're referring to. Yeah. So, let me do this chime request. My king, we are bankrupt. Your Uma Musume gambling has bankrupted us on Haru Urara. There's one more big surprise. Blue Tot has seen parts of it in the Twitch point redemption. Blue Tot has not given up. So drum roll. I made a multiplayer Nikke fan game. Unofficial fan game. That we can all play together on Twitch. So that will be tomorrow, the big premiere. So hopefully that will work. And Blue Tot has been repeatedly trying to use those. So given little leaks, I guess Blue Tot's been leaking it just to increase the anticipation. So I'll show you guys the title screen. K-Chim, when I get determined to do something, I can do just about anything if I get it in my head to do it. I do not give up. Zephyr request. Chime, you go sit in the chair for such slander. Nikke Snap. Oh my god, Doctor, I love that idea. I loved Pokemon Snap. Alright, so title screen. Why did I go back into British? God dang it. Oh, yeah, Zephyr tried too. It's too soon. Come back tomorrow. Blue Tot, yeah. It's okay for you to say that because I literally have OCD. I have an ace request. A new game? Oh boy, am I S tier in this one too? Oh, my finger stings. Wait, new Pokemon Snap game 1F. What? No. Gamma, yeah, do you remember that? You get the reference? My finger. Oh, hey, Okami Yu, glad to have you here. You came just in time for the big reveal of my project that will be premiering tomorrow. Oh, I missed it, 1F. Nice. Is it better or same or... That must be the one that I think my nephews played it. I didn't realize that's why. I was like, I thought he played like a simulator version or something. So he must have played the new one. That makes more sense. Nice. Okay, I gotta play that 1F. Love me some... That's one of my favorite games. I loved Pokemon Snap. So best. Alright. So, everybody, join tomorrow. Big day tomorrow. Extra big day. Premiere of SAC. So that's a big, it's gonna be big. whole new direction for me. So please join tomorrow to play with me. And, you know, if it doesn't work out, you can join to witness my meltdown. Request from Zebrin. Cat ears. Okay. Grave, does this look all right? Blue, 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 blue. Did you like that power down sound I just made? Blue, 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 blue. Thank you, Jack Tricks. I hope so. Hope to see you tomorrow for it. So, who plans to join tomorrow? Yes, K-Chim, for now, it's only on Twitch. Yeah, for now. Not sure about how to do it for YouTube. Obviously, that's on my list to look into. But at the very least, K-Chim, you can join to watch if playing on Twitch is not an option for you right now. Advent Ace will be here, all right. Who else? Raise your hand. Or you can say here. Or present. I went to a school where they would sing to you. Where they'd be like, export error, are you here? And then I had to copy the melody. Yes, Mrs. Teacher, I am here. We each got our own. Export error, are you here? Yes, Mrs. Teacher, I am here. So feel free to do that too. Matryoshka. Out of context is threatening me. Blue Tut. I'll take that as a yes, 1F. Really did it, Matryoshka? That's hilarious. No teacher send me home, yeah. Zebrin Star, you'll be there, or are they sang to you at your school? Alright, K-Chim will be here, alright. Jack Tricks will be here to watch. We needed viewers too, guys, not just players. Export, stop looking at me like that. I mean, out of context. I think because your name, the context, it has EX. I think that's why I sometimes call you Export. I don't know why else. Because it's always, I feel like it's always you out of context. Yeah, Zebrin, honestly, it was really... I was very self-conscious about singing in front of people, so it sucked. Blue Dot, that's funny. You called your parents? Come on, not necessary. Zephyr, would you be that kid that just barked in response? She sings, Zephyr, are you here? And then you just insist on barking only. Or being a dinosaur. Week vacation, Dirt Feather, that's funny. Oh god, Blue Tut. You got the broom and the slippers. Oh, that sounds great, Doctor. Context port. Port text. Oh, man. Wait, did she literally do that, Blue Tut? That's fair, Zephyr. I'm out of context. No, look at me. I am Export now. Hey, MGCO 2014. What should I call you? Any something else or just MGCO? Dirtfeather, I'm much too young. What's a rental store? Do you mean the library? Or perhaps you're referring to Hulu on the internet. Oh man, Blue Tut. No, Dirtfeather. I don't know what you're talking... No, what's a blockbuster? Is that a weapon? Blue Tut, I was gonna ask you, what grade were you cutting class in? Hastings. What does that mean, Dirtfeather? Yes, rental store. KCHM, I'm much too young. Oh, I've never heard about Dirt Feather. Oh man, Blue Tut, that sucks. That's BS. I've driven past this place many times that it says like video rental or something. And I'm always like, is that real? Is that a real, or have they just like, is it abandoned and they've never taken the sign down? Or is it like considered a historical sign now? Like, why is that still there? I gotta Google that one of these times. I've never Googled it. So I'm like, what the heck? All right, everybody. 1F? You mean when it was released on streaming? That must be what you mean, 1F. Yes, when Phantom Menace went on to Disney Plus, I did see it. 1F, I'm too young, no. Is it Marius or Marius? Does the A say its name, or is it a long A? I want to get it right. I do not like mispronouncing people's names. Matryoshka, I was like, one day I was driving the car practicing her name. Over and over and over again. Alright, everybody. Once I find out how to say that name correctly, I'm gonna head out. Ugh. See? It's almost gone. Almost gone. Oh, Blue Tut, I was like, GN. Like the animal? Out of you there? New, it's an animal. Agent Silent G. So Marius, is that what you're saying then? It's me, Marius. All right, the long, got it, Marius. Marius it is. All right, everybody. Dirt Feather, you're not gonna trick me into a 2-hour stream. I almost just made a reference that was gonna make me seem old. I caught myself in time. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me, and be there or be square tomorrow for the new game premiere. Woohoo! Majram. Also, Dirt Feather, I feel that it's necessary. Twice you've referred to yesterday. Today is Wednesday, Dirt Feather. That was Monday. I think you might have lost your Tuesday. Just making sure you know it's Wednesday. Oh, Advent Ace. Haha. All right. Goodbye. So long. Adios. All right, everybody. Majram.